Was the father of the Yoruba nation truly a banished Benin prince? Or was he a divine being sent from heaven to found Ile-Ife? Two powerful people tell one story, but with different tongues. This is the Untold story of Benin Kingdom, one of the most debated stories in West African history. The tale of Ekaladerhan, or as some will later call him, Oduduwa or Oduduwa. Long before the Obas of Benin, the land was ruled by Ogisos, divine kings of Igodomigodo. But towards the end of that era came Ogiso Owodo, a ruler remembered for his sorrow and misfortune. His reign was marked by famine, sickness, and confusion in the land. The people whispered that the gods were angry. Something was wrong within the palace itself. Ogiso Owodo had one son, Prince Ekaladerhan, a noble, brave, and deeply loved by the people. But within the palace walls brewed jealousy and deceit. His stepmother, the queen, could not bear the love the king had for his only son. One day, the calamity became unbearable. The king, desperate to know the cause of the kingdom's misfortune, sent his trusted messengers and the most senior queen herself, Queen Exile, to consult the oracle. When they reached the shrine, the oracle's voice thundered. "The woman standing before you, Exile, is the cause of the kingdom's suffering. She must die for peace to reign." The queen froze in terror. As they journeyed back to the palace, she begged to relieve herself. The messengers, innocent and unaware, turned their backs. But as she finished, she called out, "Turn to me," and there she stood, completely naked. To see the queen's nakedness was a grave taboo in Igodomigodo, punishable by death. The messengers fell to their knees, trembling. "Please, my queen," they cried, "do not tell the king what we have seen." The queen smiled coldly and said, "Then you will tell him this." The oracle said, "The cause of the kingdom's trouble is Prince Ekaladerhan." The terrified palace messengers and guards obeyed. When they returned to the palace, they told the king exactly what she demanded. Ogiso Owodo, heartbroken and deceived, ordered the execution of his only son. And so Prince Ekaladerhan, heir to the throne of Igodomigodo, was condemned to die. The guards took the young prince deep into the forest as they prepared for the dreadful act. Compassion filled their hearts. They whispered, "My prince, run, go far away and never return to Igodomigodo." They killed a fowl instead, smeared its blood on their swords, and returned to the palace. Holding up the blood-stained blade, they told the king, "It is done." Ekaladerhan, lost and alone, wandered through strange lands, crossing rivers, forests, and hills, guided only by destiny. At last, he arrived in a land which the world now calls Ile-Ife. Here, the people saw in him wisdom, courage, and light. They crowned him king, and he took a new name, Oduduwa, meaning I have chosen the path of wealth. Over time, the name evolved to Oduduwa. Back in Igodomigodo, Ogiso Owodo's sorrow consumed. He joined his ancestors without another heir, and the land was thrown into greater disorder. It was in this time of confusion that a brave man named Ivian rose to defend the people. A monstrous creature had begun terrorizing the kingdom, a beast set to dwell in the hills of Ipoba Hill. Ivian fought it and won, saving the people. In gratitude, they made him a caretaker ruler, not a king, but a custodian of peace. Thus began the Ivian lineage, known today as the Ogiamie family. But the Uzamaniyan, the kingmakers of Benin, longed for royal blood to return. The Uzama chiefs consulted the oracle for guidance, and the message returned. The heir of the Ogiso still lives. He rules in a faraway land called Ile-Ife. Determined to restore the royal line, the chiefs embarked on a long journey to Ife. When they arrived, they bowed before Oduduwa, the great king of that land, and told him of their mission. Oduduwa listened carefully, then he gave them a test. He lies. He said, "Take this creature and return to me after 3 years. If it lives, you are worthy." The chief returned home and cared for that lies faithfully. After 3 years, they went back to Ife, and the lies was still alive. Oduduwa smiled and said, "Truly, you are a faithful man, but I have already built another kingship for myself. My son Oromia will follow you to rule the land of his ancestors." When Oromia arrived in Igodomigodo, the Ogiamie family resisted his rule. They saw him as a stranger, a foreigner, and would not let him ascend the throne. Unable to rule, Oromia took refuge in Ego, a dukedom within Benin City. There, he fell in love with the Benin princess, the daughter of the Enugi of Ego.
"You're my wife. So my wife."
But soon, Oromia returned northward, where he later became the king of Oyo, founding what would become the Great Oyo Empire. Meanwhile, the princess of Ogego was already pregnant for Oromia, and she gave birth to a son who would later be known as Oba Eweka I. Eweka grew up strong, wise, and royal in every sense. When he became of age, he fought to reclaim the throne of his forefathers. After fierce resistance from the Ogiamie family, Eweka triumphed. The people rejoiced, saying, "Omono Banedo," meaning the child who has come to shine for the people of Edo. From that expression came the royal title Oba. Eweka became Oba Eweka I. He united the people and restored the ancient throne of Igodomigodo, now called Benin. To the Benin, Ekaladerhan, later called Oduduwa, was the exiled prince whose wisdom birthed another great civilization. To the Yoruba, Oduduwa was a divine ancestor who descended from the heavens to found Ile-Ife. Different tongues, different traditions, yet bound by a single mystery. One exile, one destiny, two kingdoms forever intertwined. So when next you hear the name Oduduwa, remember, he was once Ekaladerhan, son of Ogiso Owodo, the prince who carried the flame of Benin across forests of time, and whose descendant will go on to shape the story of West Africa itself. Was Oduduwa a god from heaven, or a mortal prince who rose from exile to greatness? Perhaps the truth lies not in one kingdom, but in both.